We're going to show you camouflaging two different pieces of equipment, the sniper rifle itself and a camera, depending on what your job is. We'll start off here with a rifle. We're going to go around the buttstock. All I got is a cravat, or other people call them drive-on rags. I'm going to put this around the buttstock. Nothing fancy again, just going to get a wrap. And you don't want to try and have too much loose stuff, because remember, you're going to be going through underbrush, so you don't want it too loose and flappy. And all we're going to do is secure it with a square knot. Then we come up here, come around, basically just kind of like you're wrapping an ace bandage around a leg or an ankle, wrist, whatever. And a little of the burlap straps, just so we don't have all solid green. You're just going to attach that on there as well. And you can see once again, we don't have anything that interferes with the action of the weapon. We can still operate our scope, covers fine, front and rear. We've got nothing in front of the barrel, and we can also still operate our bipod as well, okay? But we're just trying to break up the outline of the rifle itself, and also to cover up some of the exposed metal portions to stop any telltale glint that we might get from the sun backlighting us or hitting us at certain angles. Okay, another piece of equipment, if you're an outdoor photographer, is a camera. Now, cameras are kind of neat in the fact that they're smaller and not as big as a rifle, so a lot of times you can just stuff them in very similar to a drag bag. You just take a small laundry bag or even a dyed pillowcase and just drag that along with that. The important thing to remember, though, is if you have a large video unit, you're obviously going to have to use some type of drag bag, because it's just too bulky and awkward and heavy to be trying to drag that just by the sling. But something small like this, we could even take a burlap sack like one has right here, and we could put it right inside of the sack and cover it up like that. Now obviously we'd want to dye this, but if we didn't have access to dye, we could very quickly cut some holes in this. Okay, what we're doing is just making a small incision on either side of the bag here. Then we're just going to take our camouflage netting, putting that through, and we're just going to twist the fabric up here a little bit so we've got a little easier material to work with. And we're just going to half hitch it or overhand knot the material off. So now you can see we repeat this process almost like we're doing a ghillie suit, but we tie several strips of this along the bag, so as we're moving and dragging it, we don't just have a plain burlap bag, just something to break up the tan or khaki color of this in itself. One of the things I'm just doing a final inspection of my headpiece, and I noticed this green doesn't really fit in too well, and I also kind of have a bare spot. So what I'm going to do is cut the green out, and I've already cut some strips of some different material that I want to add in. And what I've done in the material here, I just make a snip enough for this material to fit in. I'll go ahead and twist the end up so it's a little easier to work with. And I'll go ahead and insert it into the net. One thing to remember, your camouflage is never really done, and that's why you're always inspecting prior to actually starting your suit to make any additions that you need to make, or like I found colors that really didn't fit in too well with the scheme. And now I'm just going to go ahead and fray this stuff, just pulling out the strands from the side.
Because of the foliage that we're going to be working in, I'm applying some different type of burlap to some different colored burlap to my headpiece, so it'll camouflage me better. And I have to remember that I'm going to leave room on my headgear for the surrounding natural foliage.
One of the things we're doing, we just went out to check a little bit how our pattern matched up, and we noticed Ron's pattern was a little bit light. So what we're doing is taking the atomizer or the spritzer bottle, and we've got dye in here, and what we're doing is darkening up his pattern a little bit.
Another technique you could use is using just using a spray paint. In this case, we have black and green, leafy green. Go ahead and go around and hit some of the areas that you might have put too much brown on, and break up some of that color.
There are a variety of camouflage paint products on the market, from the trays to the sticks. Any will do as long as they match your surroundings. The basic concept of face painting is to cover the prominent features of the face with the dark paint. The chin, mouth, nose, brow, and cheekbone will receive the darker colors. The deeper features of the face will receive the lighter colors: the cheek, the eyes, the forehead.
And then follow the lines on my neck to break up the pattern on my neck. And then down underneath the chin, my Adam's apple. All the way down to my throat. And even though the throat is not a high point on the face, you want to break it up. So what I'm doing is I'm going to do my throat in stripes. This will be a lighter green here. And then once I apply the light green, it's important to blend the colors in. Get it on nice and thick. And just take your finger and run it along where the colors join to give it that blended look.
The thing that you want to do is, when you're camouflaging your face, is not to forget your hands. Okay, as you can see, it just stands right out. What you could do is just go ahead and take your camouflage stick. If you don't want to wear gloves, is just do green and or dark green and light green alternating or whatever, just to break up the pattern of your hand. The glove is the most preferred technique of using to camouflage your hands. You know, one of the things, these gloves that the guy is using is aviator gloves, and you got your regular wool gloves, and you have the black leather gloves, whichever glove you want to use to cover your hands.